The boardroom doors slam shut behind Amara Kwesi as three executives stumble out, looking like they've been hit by a freight train. "Ma'am, the Volta regional contracts are ready for your signature," her assistant Akosua whispers, practically jogging to keep up with Amara's razor-sharp strides down the marble hallway. The CEO doesn't slow down. She just destroyed the biggest microfinance deal in Ghana's history and crushed two competing bids in the process. Her pen clicks rapidly in manicured fingers as she scans the documents. "Cancel the 3 p.m., move Jakarta to tomorrow, and get me everything we have on Swift Cash's new investor backing." Her heels echo like gunshots against the polished floor of ZenithPay's headquarters. 43 floors of glass and steel that she built from absolutely nothing. Every employee they pass straightens up like soldiers. "Also fire whoever leaked our bid numbers to the Tribune. I want them gone by lunch." Akosua's tablet nearly slips from her hands. "Ma'am, we don't actually know who." "Then fire everyone who had access until we find out." The elevator doors close on her assistant's horrified expression. Amara checks her Rolex. 11:47 a.m. She has exactly 13 minutes to review the Kumasi expansion files before her next meeting. The lobby's air conditioning hits her like a wall of ice as she exits onto Liberation Avenue. Accra's morning traffic roars past in a symphony of car horns and diesel fumes. Her driver should be pulling up any second. That's when she sees him. The man sits against the concrete barrier outside her building, a cardboard sign propped against his knees. His clothes are clean but worn thin, and his eyes track the stream of business suits flowing past him like he's watching a different species. "Spare some change for food?" His voice carries just enough to reach her over the traffic noise. Amara stops dead. Her security detail immediately tenses, hands moving toward their radios. In 8 years of walking past this exact spot twice daily, she has never once acknowledged the rotating cast of beggars who work this corner. But something about this stranger makes her pause. Maybe it's how he sits with perfect posture despite everything. Maybe it's the way he looks directly at her instead of staring at the ground. "How much do you need?" The words leave her mouth before her brain catches up. Her head of security steps forward. "Ma'am, your car is—" I asked him a question. The businesswoman's voice could cut glass. The homeless man blinks twice, clearly as surprised as everyone else. Whatever you can spare, sister." Amara opens her purse and pulls out her entire cash envelope, 2,000 cedis. Her coffee money for the week. She hands it over without counting. "There's a restaurant called Nana's Kitchen 2 blocks down. Tell them Amara sent you." He stares at the money like it might disappear. This is too much." "No, it's not." Her driver finally pulls up in the black Mercedes, but the CEO doesn't move toward the car. Instead, she does something that makes her security team exchange worried glances. "What's your name?" "Kofi. Kofi Mensah." "When did you last have a real meal, Kofi?" He runs a hand over his jaw, and she notices his fingernails are cleaner than they should be. "Yesterday morning, I think. Time gets strange out here." Amara touches her collarbone, a gesture she doesn't realize she's making. "Come with me to lunch." The silence stretches for exactly 4 seconds. Her driver's mouth falls open. Her security chief reaches for his earpiece. Akosua appears in the lobby doorway, tablet clutched to her chest like armor. "Ma'am," her security chief starts, Protocol requires you to do what I tell you." The CEO's eyes never leave Kofi's face, unless you'd prefer to update your resume this afternoon. Kofi slowly gets to his feet, folding the cardboard sign carefully before tucking it under his arm. "You sure about this?" "I'm never sure about anything. That's what makes it interesting." She walks toward the Mercedes, leaving her entire team scrambling to adjust. The stranger follows 3 steps behind, moving with the careful precision of someone who's learned not to make sudden movements around nervous rich people. "Where to, ma'am?" Her driver's voice cracks slightly. "The Labadi Beach Hotel. Private dining room." As the car pulls into traffic, Amara steals a glance at her guest in the rearview mirror. He's staring out the window at the city rushing past, but his reflection shows something she recognizes. The same bone-deep exhaustion she sees in her own mirror every morning. "You ever feel like you're living someone else's life?" The question slips out before she can stop it. Kofi's eyes meet hers in the mirror, every single day. Her phone buzzes with 17 missed calls and 43 unread messages. The Jakarta deal is probably falling apart. The Kumasi investors are definitely getting impatient. And somewhere in the city, Afua Asante is probably planning her next move to destroy everything Amara has built. But for the first time in 8 years, the ZenithPay CEO turns off her phone. "Tell me something," she says as they pull up to the hotel's circular driveway. "What do you think about people who have everything but still feel empty?" Kofi's hand freezes on the door handle. "I think maybe they're looking for the wrong kind of everything." The valet opens Amara's door and she steps out into the blazing afternoon sun. Behind her, her guest emerges from the car like he's entering a different world entirely. What neither of them knows is that 3 blocks away, investigative journalist Ya Asiedu is uploading the first article that will bring ZenithPay's empire crashing down. And in a modest office across town, Kofi's business partner Kwame is fielding increasingly frantic calls about their missing CEO. The private dining room at Labadi Beach Hotel overlooks the Atlantic Ocean through floor-to-ceiling windows. Amara settles into the leather chair across from Kofi, who keeps glancing around like he's memorizing every detail. "Order whatever you want," she says, sliding the menu across the polished mahogany table. Her guest's eyes scan the prices and his jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "The jollof rice looks good." "That's it? The jollof rice?" "It's plenty." The CEO flags down the waiter with a sharp gesture. "We'll have the grilled tilapia, the jollof rice, kelawel, banku with okra stew, and the goat light soup, plus 2 bottles of your best palm wine." The waiter scribbles frantically. Kofi stares at her like she's ordering food for an entire village. "You always eat like this?" he asks. "I always eat alone." The admission hangs in the air between them. "So no, not like this." Her phone vibrates against the table. 17 new messages. She flips it face down without looking. "Must be important," the stranger says, nodding toward the device. "Everything's important when you're responsible for 800 jobs." Amara pours palm wine into both glasses. "What about you? What did you do before I ended up on the street?" Kofi takes a careful sip. "I was in agriculture, supply chain management." "Sounds complicated." "Everything's complicated when you dig deep enough." The food arrives in waves. Her companion eats with the methodical precision of someone who's learned not to waste anything, but his table manners are too refined for someone who's been homeless long. "How long have you been out there?" the businesswoman asks, tearing into the tilapia with her fingers. 3 weeks. The answer comes too quickly, like he's rehearsed it. "What happened?" Kofi sets down his fork. "A company downsized. Couldn't make rent. Pride kept me from asking family for help until it was too late." "Pride's expensive." "So is success, from what I can see." Amara's hand freezes halfway to her mouth. "What's that supposed to mean?" "You're the most successful person in this room, probably this whole hotel, but you're eating lunch with a homeless stranger because you're lonely." The words hit like a slap. Her first instinct is to call security, have him thrown out, go back to her safe world of quarterly reports and board meetings. Instead, she laughs. Actually laughs for the first time in months. "You're either very brave or very stupid." "Can it be both?" Her phone buzzes again. This time she glances at the screen. A Kosua's name flashes with an urgent message preview. "Crisis, Tribune article online, need you now." The CEO's stomach drops, but she doesn't pick up the device. "You're not going to answer that?" Kofi asks. "I'm tired of being the person who always answers." "What if it's an emergency?" "Then it'll still be an emergency in an hour." But even as she says it, her fingers drum against the table. 8 years of building ZenithPay, and she's never ignored a crisis call. Not once. "Tell me something," she says, refilling both wine glasses. "Do you think people can change who they are?" Her guest considers this while chewing slowly. "I think people can change what they do, who they are. That's harder. I fired 3 people this morning before I met you. Did they deserve it? Probably not all of them. So why did you do it?" Amara stares out at the ocean. Waves crash against the shore in endless repetition. "Because that's who I am. The person who fires people. The person who wins at any cost." "Is that who you want to be?" The question sits between them like a loaded weapon. The CEO has never asked herself this. Success was always the goal, not happiness. Survival was the priority, not satisfaction. Her phone erupts in a series of rapid buzzes. Call after call after call. The device won't stop vibrating. Amara finally grabs it and her face goes white as she scrolls through the messages. I have to go. She stands so fast her chair scrapes against the marble floor. Right now. Kofi sets down his fork. What's wrong? Everything. Her fingers fly across the screen, calling her driver. My entire company is about to collapse. The ride back to ZenithPay headquarters happens in tense silence. The CEO stares at her phone while her guest watches the city blur past. Her jaw clenches tighter with each message she reads. You can drop me anywhere, the stranger says as they approach the financial district. No. The word comes out sharper than she intended. Come up with me. That's not a good idea. Nothing about today has been a good idea. The elevator ride to the 43rd floor feels endless. Amara's reflection in the polished steel doors shows a woman barely holding herself together. Her pen clicks rapidly in her hand. The executive floor erupts in chaos the moment the doors open. Akoshua rushes toward them, tablet clutched against her chest like a shield. Ma'am, the Tribune article went live 2 hours ago. Our phones haven't stopped ringing. 3 major clients have already pulled their accounts. The CEO snatches the tablet and reads while walking toward her office. Kofi follows 3 steps behind, taking in the marble corridors and floor-to-ceiling windows that scream serious money. ZenithPay's predatory practices destroy small businesses dominates the screen in bold letters. Below it, a photo of a woman crying outside her closed shop. Who leaked this? Amara's voice could freeze water. We don't know yet, but they have internal documents. Loan approval rates, interest calculations, collection protocols. The businesswoman's corner office overlooks half of Accra. Normally, the view calms her. Today, it feels like watching her empire crumble from a great height. Get me legal on the phone. Now. While Akosua dials frantically, the CEO scrolls through the article. Every paragraph hits like a physical blow. The journalist has done his homework. Names, dates, specific cases of families destroyed by ZenithPay's lending practices. Kofi stands near the window, hands clasped behind his back. His posture is too straight for someone who's been sleeping rough. Too confident. Amara Kwesi, she barks into the phone when legal picks up. How bad is this? The lawyer's voice crackles through the speaker. Bad. They have documentation going back 3 years. If this goes to court, it won't go to court. Fix it. I can't fix facts, Amara. These lending rates, the collection methods, the targeting of vulnerable communities, it's all true. She hangs up and immediately dials another number. Kweku. It's Amara. I need damage control. Full media blitz. Already saw the article. Her PR consultant says, this isn't going away with a press release. You need to fundamentally change how you do business. I need to save my company. Maybe those are the same thing. She hangs up again, harder this time. Her phone immediately rings with an unknown number. ZenithPay, Amara speaking. Miss Kwesi, this is Ya Asiedu from the Tribune. I'd like your comment on our investigation. No comment. We have evidence of systematic targeting of single mothers and elderly borrowers. Care to explain your company's collection practices? The CEO's hand tightens around the device. I said no comment. What about the internal memo calling small borrowers acceptable losses? Did you write that? She hangs up and turns the phone off completely. The silence in her office feels deafening after hours of constant ringing. This is someone I trusted, she says to no one in particular. Someone close enough to access our internal systems. Kofi turns from the window. How can you be sure? Because I'm paranoid about security. These documents came from inside. Akosua appears in the doorway again, her face pale. Ma'am, Channel 7 is downstairs requesting an interview, and Mr. OC from Green Harvest Industries called asking to speak with you urgently. Green Harvest? The businesswoman frowns. We don't have any dealings with them. He said it was personal. Something about a mutual friend. Her guest goes completely still by the window. His reflection in the glass shows a man who's just been caught. Tell him I'm not available, Amara says, but her eyes are fixed on Kofi's rigid posture. Ma'am, there's something else. Our 3 biggest investors are demanding an emergency board meeting. Tonight. The words hit the CEO like a physical blow. Emergency board meetings only happen when investors want someone's head on a platter. Schedule it for 8 p.m. They want to discuss leadership changes. They want to fire me. Amara sinks into her leather chair. 8 years building this company and they want to throw me out over one article. Her computer chimes with an email notification. Then another. Then a flood of them as clients, partners, and vendors distance themselves from the scandal. Maybe you should take their call, the stranger says quietly. Green Harvest, I mean. Why would you care about some agriculture company? Kofi's reflection meets her eyes in the window. For a split second, his mask slips completely, because sometimes the help you need comes from unexpected places. Before the CEO can ask what that means, Akosua bursts through the door without knocking. Ma'am, security just called from downstairs. There's a man in the lobby claiming to be Kofi Mensah's business partner. He's demanding to see whoever's with you right now. The color drains from her guest's face as he turns from the window, and that's when Amara notices his hands. Clean fingernails, no calluses, skin that's never seen real manual labor. Who exactly are you? She whispers. The elevator dings and heavy footsteps echo down the marble hallway. Kofi's shoulders tense as the sound grows closer. Amara, I can explain. Explain what exactly? She stands behind her desk like it's a fortress wall. Explain why some businessman is looking for you. Explain why your hands look like you've never missed a meal in your life. The footsteps stop outside her office. Akosua's voice carries through the door as she tries to intercept whoever's coming. Sir, you can't just walk in there. Ma'am is in an important meeting. The door bursts open. A heavyset man in a bright yellow shirt storms in, his face flushed with anger and exhaustion. Kofi Mensah, what the hell do you think you're doing? The CEO's world tilts sideways. The homeless man she bought lunch for straightens to his full height, and suddenly his posture screams, executive boardroom, not street corner. Kwame, you shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here? The newcomer's voice rises an octave. I've been covering for you for 3 weeks while you play dress-up in the streets. The Jakarta deal is falling apart. The board is asking questions I can't answer. Jakarta deal? Amara's voice cuts through the air like a blade. What Jakarta deal? Kwame turns toward her for the first time, taking in her expensive suit and the corner office that screams serious money. Ma'am, I apologize for the intrusion. I'm Kwame Osi, Operations Director at Green Harvest Industries. I'm here to collect my business partner and CEO, Kofi Mensah. The words hit the businesswoman like a physical slap. CEO, business partner. Green Harvest Industries, CEO. Her voice barely rises above a whisper. Her former guest's hands clench at his sides. Amara, let me explain. Explain? The word explodes from her throat. Explain how you've been lying to my face for hours? Explain how you let me feel sorry for you while my company burns down around me? It wasn't supposed to happen like this. What wasn't supposed to happen? Your little research project? Your social experiment? Kwame's eyes dart between them, finally understanding the situation. Oh no. Kofi, tell me you didn't. Didn't what? Amara demands. He's been living on the streets for 3 weeks, the operations director says slowly. Some documentary project about understanding poverty. I told him it was insane. The CEO feels like the floor is dissolving beneath her feet. Documentary project. I wanted to understand. You wanted to understand what it's like to be poor while I'm sitting here losing everything I've actually worked for? Her phone buzzes with another crisis call. The board meeting is in 4 hours. Her investors want her head, and the man she trusted with her loneliness has been playing poverty like a game. How much is Green Harvest worth? She asks quietly. Kwame shifts uncomfortably. We're private, so the numbers aren't public, but how much? About 400 million cedis. The number hangs in the air like poison gas. Amara's entire net worth, everything she's built from her parents' electronics shop, and this man has been pretending to need her spare change. Get out. Amara, please. Get out of my office. Kofi takes a step toward her desk. The feelings were real. Everything between us was real. Nothing between us was real. You're not homeless. You're not struggling. You're not even the person I thought I was talking to. I'm still the same person who told you people can change what they do. Apparently, they can also lie about who they are. Akosua appears in the doorway again, her tablet shaking in her hands. Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Channel 7 is threatening to run a story about ZenithPay's CEO having lunch with unknown men during the crisis. They have photos from the hotel. The businesswoman closes her eyes. Even this moment of private humiliation is about to become public spectacle. And the emergency board meeting has been moved up to 6 p.m. They want immediate answers about the Tribune investigation. Fine. Her voice sounds hollow even to her own ears. Schedule it. Kwame tugs at his partner's arm. We need to go. Now. Before this gets worse. It can't get worse, Amara says. I'm about to lose my company, my reputation, and apparently my judgment is so poor I can't tell a CEO from a beggar. Amara, don't. She holds up one hand. Just don't. The Green Harvest CEO reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small notebook. He sets it on her desk. My research notes. From the past 3 weeks, you should know what I wrote about you. I don't want to know what you wrote about me. You should. He turns toward the door, then stops. For what it's worth, you're the first person in years who made me remember why I started Green Harvest in the first place. And you're the first person in years who made me think I could trust someone. Congratulations on the social experiment. Kwame practically drags his business partner from the office. Their voices fade down the hallway as Akosua closes the door behind them. The ZenithPay CEO stares at the notebook on her desk. Her hands shake as she opens it to a random page. Day 18. Subject A continues to surprise. Ruthless in business but unexpectedly vulnerable in person. Contradictions fascinating from psychological standpoint. Subject A. She flips to another page. Day 20. A's isolation appears genuine, not performative. Success has cost her human connections. Methodology question. Am I studying her or manipulating her? The words blur as tears she refuses to shed burn behind her eyes. She slams the notebook shut. Her computer chimes with another email, then another. The board meeting notification appears on screen. Emergency session, leadership review, 6 p.m. Amara looks out her window at the city 43 floors below. Somewhere down there, Kofi Mensah is probably climbing into a car that costs more than most people's houses. And in 2 hours, she'll walk into a boardroom where 8 investors will decide if 8 years of her life was worth saving. Her phone rings. Unknown number. Probably another journalist wanting a comment on her spectacular downfall. She answers anyway. Miss Kwesi? This is Afua Asante from Swiftcash. I think we should talk. 2 months later, Amara sits in a cramped internet cafe in Osu, typing on a borrowed laptop. The ZenithPay logo has been stripped from the building across the street. Her former headquarters now houses Swiftcash's expanding operations. The emergency board meeting lasted exactly 17 minutes. Afua Asante's evidence of systematic predatory lending was too damning to fight. The investors voted unanimously to remove her and sell to Swiftcash for parts. Her phone buzzes with a text from her landlord. 3rd eviction notice this month. Amara? She looks up from the screen. Kofi stands in the doorway of the cafe, wearing jeans and a simple white shirt instead of his usual business attire. He looks smaller somehow, more human. What do you want? To buy you coffee, and to show you something. I don't drink coffee with liars. Fair enough. He sits down across from her anyway. How about tea? The cafe owner brings 2 cups without being asked. The Green Harvest CEO slides a manila folder across the plastic table. What's this? Evidence that Afua Asante used illegal hacking methods to access your internal systems, and documentation of how she manipulated the Tribune investigation. The former ZenithPay executive opens the folder. Bank records, email chains, payment receipts to hackers. Her hands shake as she reads. Where did you get this? I hired a forensic accountant. Took 2 months to trace everything back to Swiftcash. Why? Because what she did to your company was wrong. Your lending practices needed changing, but she destroyed you with criminal methods. Amara closes the folder. This doesn't bring ZenithPay back. No, but it could destroy Swiftcash, level the playing field. For what? I have no company, no money, no reputation. What field exactly am I playing on? Her companion reaches into his pocket and pulls out a business plan bound in blue plastic. This one. The cover reads, Ethical Financial Solutions, Kwesi and Mensah Partnership. You're insane. Probably. But I've been thinking about what you said. About changing what we do instead of who we are. The former CEO flips through the pages. Micro-lending with transparent rates, community investment programs, profit sharing with borrowers, everything ZenithPay should have been. Why would you want to work with me? I'm the predatory lender, remember? You're also the person who gave a homeless stranger 2,000 CDs without thinking twice. That homeless stranger was you, and you were richer than me. The gesture was still real. The cafe door chimes as another customer enters. Amara recognizes him immediately. Ya Asiedu from the Tribune, the journalist who wrote the exposé that destroyed her life. He approaches their table with a recording device in his hand. Miss Kwesi, I'm working on a follow-up story about SwiftCash's business practices. Care to comment? No comment. What about allegations that Afua Asante used illegal methods to obtain information about ZenithPay? The former executive's eyes dart to the manila folder. Where did you hear that? Anonymous tip. Someone sent us documentation of criminal hacking activities. Very detailed documentation. Kofi's face remains perfectly neutral, but his fingers drum once against the table. If these allegations are true, Ya continues, it would mean SwiftCash built their reputation by destroying yours through illegal means. Hypothetically, Amara says carefully, what would happen to SwiftCash if such evidence existed? Criminal charges, regulatory investigation, probably complete collapse of public trust. She looks at her companion across the small table. 2 months ago, he was lying to her face about being homeless. Now he's handed her the weapon to destroy her destroyer. And hypothetically, if someone wanted to start a new financial services company with ethical practices, would the market be open to that? After the SwiftCash scandal breaks, the market would be desperate for someone trustworthy. Ya's recording device sits between them like a loaded gun. One word from the former ZenithPay CEO and Afua Asante's empire crumbles just like hers did. I'll need to verify the evidence before I can comment officially. Of course. How long do you need? Amara closes the business plan and stands up. 24 hours. The journalist nods and leaves. The cafe falls silent except for the hum of old computers and the distant sound of Accra traffic. You could have just given him the evidence directly, she says. This way you choose what happens next. And if I choose to walk away? Start over somewhere else? Then I'll respect that decision. The former executive picks up the manila folder and the business plan. What makes you think we could work together? Trust each other. Because we've both lost everything once. We know what it costs. I haven't forgiven you for lying to me. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a partnership. What's the difference? Forgiveness is about the past. Partnership is about the future. Amara walks toward the door, then stops. If we do this, no lies. No research projects. No social experiments. Agreed. And I want equal partnership. 50-50 on everything. Agreed. And you're buying the first round of office furniture. Also agreed. She pushes open the cafe door and steps into the humid Accra afternoon. Kofi follows her onto the busy street where vendors sell everything from phone cards to fresh coconuts. There's something else, he says as they walk toward the main road. Green Harvest has been supplying food to ZenithPay's corporate cafeterias for 3 years. The former CEO stops walking. What? We've been business partners this whole time. You just never knew it. You're telling me this now? I'm telling you that some connections run deeper than we realize. A taxi pulls up to the curb. Amara gets in and rolls down the window. 24 hours, Kofi. Then we change everything or we walk away. Where are you going? To find Afua Asante. If we're going to destroy her company, I want to look her in the eye when we do it. The taxi pulls into traffic, leaving the Green Harvest CEO standing on the sidewalk with his hands in his pockets and the beginning of a smile on his face.